Yo, what's up, your buddy Domuto. We're back with another video today. We're watching Saiyan. Yes, sir. Today we're watching What If Universe 6 and 7 Merge Part 4. Part 4. So the last part, at the end of the last part, that boy Hit pulled up on planet Namek, and yeah, what are we on part 4? I feel like we're on a different part. We should be on part 4 though. We should be on part 4. Make sure, yeah, we are. So let's get into it.
We saw a war break out on Namek between multiple factions, and that includes our heroes arriving on Namek, with Cauliflower reluctantly joining them, and them eventually joining up with Vegeta too. The Frieza force isn't the only group to worry about. Frost's own army is there too, and he has some pretty scary soldiers, but what's going to happen now as we move forward? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 4 of What If Universe 6 and 7 were merged. The group has no idea of who this Hit guy is. Clearly he's someone who doesn't mess around, and it's also pretty obvious that he's not with the Ginyu Force or the Frieza Force for that matter. Vegeta and Cauliflower say this guy didn't work with them ever. There's only one explanation for who this guy is. He's got to be working with Frost, although it kind of looks like they have no choice. Even though they know nothing about him, they still do need to fight him, especially because they're not giving up those Dragon Balls. It's pretty clear right away that Hit is stronger than Ginyu, and Captain Ginyu was the strongest of his group. Although he's not too far beyond him in terms of strength, the real issue is his abilities. As an experienced assassin, he has a bunch of techniques up his sleeve, the most deadly of which is the ability to control time. Again, they know nothing about this guy, and they need to learn something about how he fights in order to defeat him. It's pretty easy to tell that he can control time somehow, and Goku wants to test that out, seeing what he could do and figuring if he could work a way around that. As the group fights him, he effectively fends them off. He's got power to back up his abilities. He's an excellent warrior, and they can see that it's not going to be easy to take him down. And Goku thinks he might have a way around this. He wants to see how much time Hit can control. He learned how this guy fights, adapting to his fighting style. But also Hit reveals that he can control time for 1/20th of a second, using it to basically skip ahead. It doesn't sound like a lot, but in a fight, it's a lot of time. But Hit says he'll also be able to improve it as he fights. And Goku has an amazing idea. They need to predict his moves, catch him off guard, and outspeed him somehow. And Goku has the perfect technique for that. He lunges in for an attack, and the second he's about to land a strike, Hit activates his time skip, and Goku activates Kaioken, bursting into it for a fraction of a second, speeding him up enough to attack Hit before his time skip activates. And when he uses this, he goes into Kaioken times 20, a very strenuous and powerful version of Kaioken. But it barely affects him because he's only using it for a split second when attacking. And not only does it greatly boost his speed, but it also makes his attacks way more potent.
So to make it Hit look not as strong as he is in Super.
And Hit can immediately tell he's pretty heavily outmatched here. He needs to make an escape. He'll cut his losses. He'll at least get some Dragon Balls back to Frost, even if he can't get all of them right now. As Goku prepares his last attack, Hit uses his time skip, using it not to parry or dodge, but to do something completely unexpected. Retreat. The ground explodes around them. Hit lowers his ki drastically, and makes a quick and silent escape. They try their best to find where he went, but they don't know. At least they know they can defeat him once they encounter him again. And not to mention, he didn't get all the Dragon Balls. So, at least there's that. But Vegeta says this could be an issue. If Frost is bringing out his strongest troops too, he must be here as well. He knows that Frieza's here nearby somewhere, and that's bad enough as is. But with Frost being here too, that's even worse, because they have no clue about Frost. They have no idea what his powers are like, what he's capable of, nothing like that. They didn't know about Hit, for example. On the other side of the planet, Hit's able to quickly make it back to Frost, who actually just recently arrived on the planet. Well, he's glad that the Ginyu Force is gone, but they didn't account for that other group being here. Hit explains that it's some group that's not with the Frieza Force, and they're not Namekians either. Well, one of them is, but he's not with the Namekians.
But one of them was wearing the Frieza Force armor, although they were fighting the Ginyu Force for some reason. He has no clue who they're truly aligned with.
And Frost is angered beyond belief. There's others meddling in his plans too. Frieza's one thing, they could take care of him, but this random group that's here, how are they causing trouble? How did they defeat Hit of all people? Hit says he needed some time to regroup. He plans on striking them when they least expect it, because that'll be effective, and he'll deal with them in due time. For now, they should focus on the Namekians and the Frieza Force. Frost has his own scout.
I like this story.
Someone's approaching him. Actually, a couple people are, but most of them seem weak, except for one.
I really do
person
like
who's
Universe
exceedingly
6 in
high
the
value
whole.
now. It's Frieza. As Frieza flies towards them, his jaw drops. That's who was trying to get the Dragon Balls? They found it all in the scouters and saw that someone defeated the Ginyu Force. And here they say Frost, one of his strongest men, Hit, and some Dragon Balls. The fact that Frost is here means that he's ready to make his final moves. And Frieza needs to stop it before it begins. Hit steps in front of Frost.
It's more of an
ready to
even
defend.
battle now.
But Frost says there's no need for that. The two stare each other down, with Frieza giving off a wicked grin. He knew that someday they'd finally cross paths, in a circumstance that would cause them to battle. And Frost is glad that Frieza's prepared for this. That's exactly why he came here on this planet. Since he knew Frieza himself was involved, Frost himself needed to get involved as well. Naturally, they're the only ones capable of taking each other on. and Frost thinks the best way to kill the Frieza Force is to cut off its head. Instead of eliminating all these targets, they just need to eliminate one, Lord Frieza. Frieza chuckles. Well, one thing he can compliment Frost on is his thinking. The two of them have pretty similar ideas. Although, Frieza didn't expect to see Frost here right now. But it doesn't matter though, he's ready to fight. As the two prepare for battle, Hit tries to time skip, using it to try and hit Frieza with one deadly attack before the battle begins. But as he uses time skip, he's outpaced by Frieza. Frieza's not even phased by it, and with one powerful blow, he's able to knock Hit away. This is going to be a one-on-one.
It's definitely a
no
weaker
petty
hit.
tricks like that. He begins powering up, as Frost does too, as the two of them show off their true power, going right into their final forms. They didn't actually know for sure that they had final forms, but they kind of assumed that the two were very similar in how they could transform. So seeing each other using the same powers, well, it gives them comfort to know that they're probably on equal footing. Back over where Goku's group is,
but Frost got
they
the
sense
poison
everything happening,
thing.
and they're just astounded.
Frost might win this
Two
joint.
powers at that high of a level. What are they supposed to do against those two opponents? They assume the other one is Frost, and one is definitely Frieza. And they sense Hit get knocked away with just one attack, completely fodderized by Frieza. But then, Piccolo notices something strange. One of the Dragon Balls in their possession, it starts glowing and then suddenly just stops. As the orange color of it disappears, it turns into stone, and he begins panicking, as the rest of the group notices too. Doesn't this mean the Dragon Balls are inactive now? But how did that happen? Frieza and Frost haven't even noticed yet because they're in the middle of their battle. But now this group knows about it. It turns out that Guru has died. The immense stress that he felt, his planet being torn apart like this, two armies converging in on it, and now their two leaders are fighting each other. It accelerated his death, taking the Dragon Balls and Porunga with him. Well, okay, that's actually kind of good for them. It's a shame because that means Namek lost its Elder. But remember, the group didn't actually need the Dragon Balls here. They just wanted to avoid Frost or Frieza getting them. And with no Dragon Balls, that means there's nothing to worry about at the moment. Well, at least in regards to the Wish. Some of them have different ideas in mind. Vegeta thinks it's best that they leave. Same with Caulifla. This planet isn't their problem anymore. They think this is great news. As much as they'd love to kill Frieza, well, that might just happen with Frost doing it. They could escape here, unnoticed and unscathed. And while Vegeta can't get his own wish for immortality, he relishes in the idea that Frieza's gonna find out he won't get his wish. But the others have different thoughts in mind. For example, Goku does still want to fight Frieza, even though he knows it's way too dangerous at this point. But it's not just that. It doesn't feel right leaving Namek like this. Piccolo himself is thinking about this too. There's still a lot of Namekians here. The planet can be saved. They can't just up and abandon it like this. It's not right. It won't sit right with them. And as the group tries to figure out what to do next, they sense some powers approaching, but not malicious powers. It's a group of Namekian warriors. And Kappa notes something really strange about them. Their energy feels weird, different from the other Namekians. It's a lot more powerful, first of all, and also, I feel like there's multiple energies in one. He can't quite put his finger on it, but the others notice that too. The three Namekian warriors land. They don't recognize
Nail.
And it's kind of confusing because one of the people in the group appears to be wearing the armor of the Frieza Force, that being Vegeta. But also there's Piccolo in their group, a Namekian. They don't recognize him, but they can clearly see he is one of them. They try and figure out what's going on here, and ask this group to identify themselves. Piccolo explains, and they find out that these three are Namekian warriors, warriors that have merged with other Namekian warriors. That's why they're so powerful, and why their energies feel weird. Their names are Nail, Saunel, and Pirina, the three strongest Namekians. They were the strongest before, and now they're even more powerful. They've merged with other warrior Namekians, using this as a backup plan. They know the Dragon Balls are gone, and they really need a fight here. They're not sure how the battle between Frost and Frieza will go, but at least one of them is going to survive. There's no way they kill each other. Someone is going to make it out of there, and they're going to need someone to defeat that last person. Although there's another issue too. When they fuse, that would have been enough to defeat First Form Frieza. The three of them together could have done it, and it probably would have been the same result for Frost. But Frieza and Frost power shot up so far, they went right into their final form.
Y'all cooked,
now,
buddy.
They're not sure what they can do against these two. And even if the three of them merge together into one really strong Super Namekian, they still have no clue how that fight will go down. They still don't know the full power of Frieza or Frost, only what they sense at the moment. These Namekians were pretty powerful from the get-go too. As I mentioned in the first part, Namek's history is a lot different. It had a lot more warriors, the population was larger in general, and they had a greater amount of strong Namekians.
Right.
But now that brings them here. They don't know what the best course of action is to defend their planet. The situation is dire. Namek is already in ruins, and they're pretty straight up about it. They say a lot of the population has died. While Namek has a larger population than normal, it's still relatively small, especially in comparison to planets like Earth. So even a small loss of life is great in proportion. But they have one last-ditch idea. It's what they mentioned before. If they can all fuse into one Super Namekian, maybe that will be more than enough. It'll assure their safety. It is a last resort. The Dragon Balls are gone, the Elder and the Dragon Clan Namekians are dead, and if these three die, the only one left will be Piccolo, and Kami, who they don't know about. At the rate this is going, Namek and his people will be wiped out. And it's not like the fused Namekians can come back either. This fusion is permanent. As far as they know, there's no way to reverse it. But Nail has a pretty shocking proposition. He asks if Piccolo could help. Maybe a fourth Namekian could really tip the scales. But Piccolo has no clue who these people are or what this even is like. He doesn't know what Namekian fusion will do to him. Meanwhile,
True.
the battle between Frost and Frieza continues. Hit watches from the sidelines. The entire area around them is torn up. It's an unrecognizable wasteland. The two are a pretty good
They
match
going
for
at
each
it for
other, it
real.
seems. And by now, they notice that the Dragon Balls are gone. So they're purely focused on killing each other. It doesn't matter if the Dragon Balls are gone. There has to be another place to find them. It can't just be this planet. But Frieza notices something interesting. He asks Frost if he's truly at his full strength yet. And Frost says he is. Why? Is Frieza terrified by it? Actually, the opposite. And Frieza has a little secret that he's going to let Frost in on. This is its final form, but he's only been fighting at 50% of his power. And Frost doesn't believe this. No, that has to be a bluff. And Frieza asks if Frost really wants to test that bluff. He starts charging power as it begins transforming once more. Not really changing form, but changing size, with his power spiking as well. It takes a bit to charge up,
Full
but he
power.
fights as he does so, charging up a little bit more energy between each attack, going gradually from 50% to 100%. And Hit could see, Frost is quickly losing ground. He needs to do something to help, but he knows he can't. But actually, this might be an opportunity for him, the perfect opportunity to leave Namek. He doesn't care about the Dragon Balls, and while he does work under Frost, he's not loyal to him. He's there for the
Right.
pay. But there is one thing that's important to him, finishing the job. And if he fails at the job he was hired to do, that's really gonna irk him. But Hit also knows when he's defeated. If he stays here, it'll be pointless. He'll die regardless, and his job won't be completed. He decides now he's gonna escape Namek. If Frieza does win here, he'll come for him later, but he'll also come for that other group that was meddling. Their time will come soon enough. Hit will grow much stronger before he meets them again. Frieza finally reaches his full power, completely overwhelming Frost. He says that was a fun battle, but it's gonna have to end here. And Frost curses Frieza. He says Frieza thinks he might have won here, but he knows that he'll be back. Frost says this isn't the end for him. It's the beginning of the end for Frieza instead. But Frieza pays no attention to this, simply just landing the finishing blow on Frost, piercing a powerful blast right through
Wait.
him, then grabbing onto
Frost
the
ain't
Mega
got
Frost,
the full
then
power
launching
shit?
one more blast to fully
No, I
eradicate.
thought he did.
Frieza's breathing heavily. He's injured too, but he's victorious. Although, what does he have to do now? He wonders where that assassin went. He should probably clean up that loose end. And also, that other group that was meddling in his plans. He needs to get rid of them as well. But maybe the best way to do that would just be to, well, simply destroy Namek. That'll assure that everyone on this planet will be dealt with. He aims a hand right down
It's
to
gonna
the
take
surface,
5 minutes though.
launching a powerful blast. But it never makes contact with the ground. It's actually sent right back to him. His own blast hits him square on. Someone deflected him. And he hears the sound of someone vanishing behind him, turning around to see what looks like a Namekian standing there. But something about this one's different. His demeanor, it's strange. And he has a brilliant glow around him. But other than that, he looks completely unassuming. This
Oh,
couldn't have been
shit.
one to knock his attack back. Frieza swings an arm at him, and the Namekian catches it. And that glow vanishes around him. And Frieza can clearly see his face now. The Namekian thanks Frieza for killing Frost. That's less work for him now. He then punches Frieza, with his fist going right through him. But Frieza surprisingly is unfazed by this. It is painful, but he's still alive, even though he got punctured right through his chest. Who is this? The Namekian states that his name is Piccolo, although a new version of Piccolo. It took a lot of convincing, but eventually the Namekian fusion went through. They were fine with Piccolo being the host. He was powerful enough as is, and the fusion would be potent regardless. Sanao, Pirina, and Nail all merged into him,
That's fire.
creating the strongest Namekian that the planet has ever seen. They knew the fusion would be powerful, but no one expected it to be like this. Piccolo simply launches a blast at Frieza, sending him flying down towards the surface. The power of the attack is very intense.
Because
leaving
those
Frieza
Universe
back
6
in anger,
Namekians
seemingly
was
dead.
pretty
Piccolo sees now that this was overkill.
powerful.
but
They
he's
were
still glad
stronger
to
than
protect
Piccolo in
Frieza. And now
the
that Frost isn't
tournament
an issue anymore too,
tournament of
it seems
power.
Namek is safe.
In
He
the anime.
descends down below, going to where Frieza's mangled corpse is. That should be the finishing blow. But he notices something strange. Below Frieza, the ground is glowing. He kicks over Frieza's body, and it's a disgusting and brutal sight. But Frieza is still alive, actually. How did he survive that? How durable is this guy? And the glow below him grows larger and larger. Frieza just detonated the planet. He launches a blast at Piccolo's face. It does nothing, but it serves as a distraction. A plume of lava shoots up in front of them too, as Frieza then tries his best to fly out into space, barely being able to escape. And Piccolo can't believe it. He failed? No, that should have killed Frieza. How did he survive that? They didn't know he could survive attacks like that. That's why
Frieza
Frieza
is a
eliminated
weird
Frost so
character.
quickly and destroyed every little bit of him. He knew that Frost was durable, but they didn't know that Frieza was that durable, giving him the ability to do this. Piccolo quickly flies over to the rest of the group, grabbing all of them and bringing them back to the ship. He says he'll explain what happened in a bit, and the group is barely able to escape. As Namek explodes, Piccolo watches on through the window. He failed. His planet, it's gone. If there were any Namekians still alive, they're not there anymore. He and Kami are the last of them. Whatever remains of the Namekian race, it's within him. The
Damn.
rage he feels, not just towards Frieza, but himself.
I mean, you got the
It's
Dragon
immense.
Balls.
He could have obliterated Frieza. He could have saved the planet at least. And now Frieza's still out there. But Goku says it's fine. They'll fix the planet. They could use Earth's Dragon Balls to fix it and then revive the other Namekians. But he also notices something weird too. While Piccolo was told this fusion wouldn't really change him, it seems it kinda did. He clearly has a strong connection to this planet now. and he feels for it. He feels for the rest of his species that's gone now. His planet was torn apart by these two armies, with him being the sole survivor of Namek. He'll avenge his clan and his people. He'll stop Frieza. Nail, Salno, and Pyranus' sacrifice, as well as the sacrifice of every other warrior Namekian, it won't be in vain. As their ship drifts off in space, this is where we'll leave off for now.
I liked it. This was a fire chapter by Saiyan. I ain't gonna lie. The idea of Piccolo fusing with all of them, that make him a powerful warrior, bro. I like this, man. I like this. I can't wait till the next part, man. Frost. Why didn't let Frost go full strength? Did he not have it? Because I don't know. That's weird. But anyway, glad my reaction. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.